Hi, welcome to XP-Pen 6 Weeks Animator Incubation. In this lesson, I'm gonna show you how to do the walk cycle for the legs. Doing a walk cycle is really complicated, so for now we're gonna forget about the hands and only focus on the feet. By the end of this lesson, you're gonna be able to do this. A walk cycle of the feet. Okay, for that we have to move the hip a little bit up and down and move the legs. We're gonna be applying pose to pose. So remember the kepi, all right? Kepi. The key poses, the extremes, the passing poses, and the in-betweens. The key poses is from where to where does your character walk. So because this is a loop, we don't have to define from where to where, so we're gonna start with the extremes, okay? And then the passing poses, and then the in-betweens. All right, so let's get it started. If you want to follow along, you can open this file, walk cycle start. Now, the first thing I want to do is to hide the hands, both of the arms. So for that, I'm going to select the character, then press letter S, which is the same as pressing on the sprites. Let me close this to show you. It's the same as pressing on sprites. And then I'm going to select the hand, and from all the selection, I'm gonna pick empty. And then this arm, empty. And then this right arm, and then empty. Then the hand, go all the way down, empty. Then the left forearm, empty. Left arm, empty. There you go. Now we are ready. What I'm going to do is start doing some animations for the bones. Now, of course, in here you can just import a clip to the walk cycle, but what I want to teach you here is how to build the animation of the walk cycle. Why? Because when you can do this, when you master it, then you can start doing more complex animations like a fighting scene, someone doing a kick, or etc., etc. For that, you need to master the basic walk cycle, okay? So let's do this. I'm going to start by pressing K and bringing the motion key editor, which is the same as pressing the bones in here. And now, the first thing I want to do is to bring down the hip just a little bit. Instead of clicking and dragging in the workspace, I'm gonna be super precise and click here. And actually, I want the legs to be locked. So let me lock them both. And now if I bring the hips down, there you go. Now this is going to give me a little bit of space. I'm going to put it on. Let me reset the position, and from 119, I'm just going to bring it back a notch, just a little bit. That is because when the character is walking, I want enough flexibility for the legs. I don't want the legs to kind of snap. You can test it so you can see, but it's better to have it just a little bit with the knees bent, and the character can walk easier. So let's do this. I'm going to start by opening the timeline. Something happening here. Let me undo. I just opened the timeline. Bring this down a little bit. Okay. And now what I want to do is click on motion. So I show this one, the transform. Okay. The first thing I want to do is set up the extremes. And the other thing I want to do is right click and then select on transition curve. You cannot see it, but if I move this a little bit up, you should be able to see it. It's at the very bottom, transition curve. Okay, let me return. And all you need to know is that when you right click, there's an option that says transition curve. Okay, so right click, transition curve. It's out of the screen, but it's there. And then I want to be using step. Okay. Now, let me get this character in position. The first position is going to be this. Right there. As you can see, I'm trying to have this leg, his right leg, touching this line, and the other leg on the line on top of it. Okay, that's what this base is for. All right, so that's key pose 1. Now let's set up key pose 2. For that, again, I'm gonna do it in fast forward. I'm going to go to frame 17, which is around half of all this animation. And remember, because it's going to be a loop, I'm actually going to add a new layer, a new frame in here. Let me just total off 33. And this is going to be repeating. So this one, let me copy it and then go to the end. This is going to be the whole animation. It's going to do all the walk and then repeat again to that same position. So the middle of those is going to be 17, around there. All right. So I just go to the motion key editor and then set key. There you go. Now the other thing I want to do is right click transition curve, which is outside the screen, but it's there, and then select step. Okay, here's why, because we want to be thinking of this as if we were looking at two different drawings. We don't want to see the transition between the frames. We just want to see two drawings from one to the other. That's how we want to visualize it. At the end, instead of drawing every in between, we just add the transition curves. Okay, so for now, let's have everything as step. Let's continue. I'm going to set up this position now. I'm gonna do it in fast forward. Right there. Now, there's something important for the hip. Right now, the hip is not moving, but later we're gonna be moving it. What I'm going to do now is play it just so you can see the switch between the extremes. From there to there. That's it. Really nice. It's basically the same position for both feet, but one is on the other side, right? So that's it. Now let's add the, let me show this one. Okay, so we have the extremes. Now we're going to set up the passing positions. For the passing positions is going to be when the character is putting the other leg in between those. So we have this, right? So the passing pose is when that foot is passing. Both legs are about to go to, they're crossing each other. So it's gonna be this position, okay? So let's do that. That is going to happen in frame 9. And for this one, I'm going to pull down this, the hip. I'm going to pull it down just a little bit. Boop, just one. From, we were on 118. I just reduce it to 17 right there. Just a little bit, not too much. So look, it's going from here to here, and I don't want any transition. Let me right click, transition curve, and then step. All right. This is what we have right now. Yes, that is going to give me a little bit of flexibility there. So let me put this in position in fast forward. That's it. And now I'm going to show you what we have. Let me go to the top of the timeline. And look at this. Book. And now all I need to do is go to the middle of this, which is going to be, I believe, frame 25 is in between those two. So let me press on set key, and then I right click there, transition curve, make it step. Really nice. And now what I'm going to do is put this in position. Again, I press K, and then I want the hip to be at the same. Let me bring this up, all the way up. And it's going to be this number, the same, 117. Actually, it's just dropping this one number. There you go. And then I position the feet in fast forward. Right there. And now one thing I'm going to do is every time I want to go all the way to the top in the motion right here in the timeline, I have to scroll a lot. So one thing I'm going to do is close everything that is not a transform because I'm not animating the sprites or the layer order. So I'm going to close sprite and then layer, and then I'm going to close everything that doesn't have a T, which stands for transform. I'm gonna do that in fast forward. And now also I'm going to close everything that has to do with the arms because we're not animating those. There, now it's a shorter timeline. Really nice. Okay, so let's look at what we have. I play it and look at that. Now we have the rhythm of this guy walking. Can you see? Now we are starting to visualize it. Really nice. All we have to do now is put another one in the middle of those, and this is going to be the in-between. So right now we have the extremes and the passing poses. Right on. Now we need to put the in-betweens. Let me explain to you with a timeline right here. So we had the extremes and then we put the passing poses. That's what we just did. Now we're going to put 4 in-betweens that are gonna be in here. All right? And that's it. Super easy when you know what to do, all right? And when you go sequentially post to post. Let's do it. Again, I'm gonna post them in fast forward. To make my life easier, I'm gonna just take this one that says transform in motion. So this is the master keyframe. Let me explain to you. If I take this and move it, you can see that all the keyframes below it goes with it. That's the master keyframe. I press Ctrl C and then go to the middle, Ctrl V. There you go. This is going to be the first in between. And all I have to do is compare. It has to go from here to here. Okay, so this foot, look at where it is right now. It has to be in between that place and this place. So look at what I'm going to do. I'm going to visualize, because in Cartoon Animator we don't have onion skin. I'm going to put this just to visualize the heel right there. So I know it's moving from there to here. So all I have to do is put this heel in between those two. So let me click in here and then I'm gonna move it. Oh, but wait, not in there. I want to put it on frame 5. Ooh, I was about to make a mistake. So between here, and actually I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna take this one. Let me just I'm gonna go slower because I really want you to understand this. What I did was taking this one and copy it, right? Well, I believe it's a better idea to take this one and then have that one in here. So I can just take this and then move it from that position, right? So let me do this. Well, actually, move it from here to in between those. I'm going to focus on having that heel in between where it is and the line. So for that, what I'm going to do is take this keyframe where I have the cursor right now, click on it and make sure is the master, then copy, and then click here and paste. There you go. Now I'm going to take this one and put it in the middle. I think about there it's okay. Let's jump between the two. For that, I just click on this keyframe and then go on to this, the next keyframe and the previous. You can press Tab and then Shift Tab, but make sure you are in this row. I think that's working. Very good. We're done with that leg, and then I'm going to do the same for the other one. From here, let me go all the way up from here, and then actually it has to go from here. I'm just aligning this side of the screen with that leg, and then it has to go in between those 2 points. Okay, so let me actually use this corner this corner right here, from here to here. So it has to be in the middle of those two, around here. Let's see it. Yes, I press tab tab and then shift tab to go back and forth. Yeah, that looks like an in-between. So that's what I'm gonna be doing for the rest of them. Okay, I'm gonna do this in fast forward. I take this foot, it's going to go from here to here, and then I just put it in the middle. But this one is a little bit tricky because I have to rotate the feet a little bit because the heel is starting to rise. I do the same. I copy the second one, and then I'm going to align. Let's see. Let's track from where to where he's going. From here to here. So again, I do the same. I put it in the corner just to know where the heel is, and then I just have to put that heel in between those two. There you go. Let's see how it looks. And now the other leg. Now for frame 13, the second in between, let me show you where we're at. This one can be a little bit tricky because in here, the leg has to be almost about to take that step. So that's the only part where the feet moves a little bit faster. It's just so it has that slow in and slow out. We go like this. From this movement to this, the feet moves a little bit fast. So in frame 13, just make sure this is about to hit the ground like that. So this is what we have so far, like this, and look at this. And then it steps. Boop. You see? Now, I believe this one should be, this is the extreme pose we set first. But this one is too far. Let me just compare both. I'm focusing on how far this is getting, and then boom. That's a mistake. So if I go back to here, let me put it. This is as far as it should go. So let me go back to this one, frame 13. This should be a little bit behind, around there. About to hit the ground, but not quite there yet. And then it steps in. There you go. Okay, alrighty. It's getting there, little by little. Now we just need to add the last in between, this one. So for that, again, I'm going to copy this one and then paste it there. And again, this is going to be almost before this guy touches the ground, and this leg has to be in between the last one, which is, look at this. This is where it can get tricky. Right now, the feet is right there, and then it's going to get from there to here, inclined. So it was there, and it should be around there. So let me just be as precise as possible. I'm focusing on this bone, that bone, and then boop. I have to bring this in between. Look at this. It has to go from here to here. So the in between is right there. Let me put it there. There you go. And then this foot has to be about to touch the ground like that. So let me put this limit and then put this in position. And one thing I didn't do is put the hips in the correct place. So in the first in between, the hips, let me select the hip. The hip has to go to the lowest point. I'm gonna just drop it a notch, right, one more, right there. And then go to this one. And yeah, this is okay. This is 118. And then, boom, in here it has to go down to 16. There you go. and then it raises. Very good. And then it drops. Okay, so here's the thing. Let me just, maybe that's a little bit, what's happening? Okay, so in this one, the number for the hip should be 118, the highest point. And then the hips go really low. They go to 2 points down, okay? And then in the middle, the passing position is on 117, and then it goes all the way up, so it has the same as the other extreme. So the hip is going like this, boom, 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 okay? Like on the first in between, it goes low, and then in the middle, up, up, lowest, then higher, and highest. Just make sure you have this, those values for the, well, I don't know if those are the exact values, but at least the highest points. The highest points should be on the extremes, okay? Yeah, I'm gonna use this and then change colors. Then this should be the lowest point, right next to it. And then I'm gonna use another color, maybe blue for the middle point. This should be the middle point right here. And then again, the highest point. Red is the highest point. This one also has the highest point. Okay, hopefully this helps. But anyway, let's continue. Now we have the hips correctly. It's going up, and then in here we just need to, I think we got it. Let me play it. Yeah, there you go. Now all we have to do is take, actually the steps are a little bit short. Maybe we could make them longer. So let me do that in fast forward. That's it. All I did was modify the key poses. And this one is the same as the last one. So I'm going to take the first on transform, motion transform. That's the master key. Click, Control C, and then go to the end and paste it there. So now, as you can see, I didn't change anything else. Let me show you the ones that I expanded. This one, and then this one, and then this one. Those are the extremes. So let's play it. Yeah, now we are ready to have this finished. All I have to do is go one by one, and instead of in traditional animation, you have to go in and then draw the in-betweens for each one. In here, we're just going to transition curves, linear, really easy. So just right click and then select transition curve and select linear. And then select the next one, linear, next one, linear, next one, linear, and so on. There you go. Now let's play it. Okay, I feel like in here, this leg gets stuck too much in there. So I'm just going to go in and modify this and bring it up a little bit and lower this. Let's see if that helps. Oh, it's because I didn't move this one. Well, actually, I'm gonna just move this a little bit further up. Just making some adjustments in here. Put it correctly in between. There. I feel the same on this leg getting stuck there a little bit. So I'm gonna take this in the middle position, this passing pose. Let me select another bone and then I can freely take this one. Then bring it closer to the middle and then go back and then bring this a little bit more in between. Let's see. There you go. Now to change the timing a little bit, I'm gonna go all the way up and look at what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna change the, remember in one of the lessons on timing, that's why we believe timing has to come before pose to pose, is because in here we're going to modify a little bit of the timing. I want to have the legs a little bit in the beginning to move a little bit faster and then at the end a little bit slower. So for that, all I do is take the keyframes and then get them closer to the starting point. So in here, what I'm going to do is take this keyframe, this is the first in between, and then click and drag one step, and then take the next one and then drag it 2 steps. That adds a little bit of faster movement. And then I leave this space, and then this is the other extreme. Now, again, I repeat that process. Take the first in between, drag it 1 step, take the next one, and then drag it 2 steps. So this is the rhythm that I have. Let me play it, and you're gonna see how it improves. Yes. Actually, wait, with that rhythm, now I feel like from here to here, it slides too much. So let me modify this and see how this helps. There you go. Again, the same happens with this leg. It goes like this and then zoop from here to here. Boom. So I'm going to bring this a little bit back. There you go. Now it has a really natural organic rhythm. And now I'm paying attention to the knees. It kind of moves weird from... there you go. There's a snap. Right there, there's a snap in here. So let me take this leg and then bend it a little bit. Look at that. There you go. So we did some refinement at the end, but I think it's worth it. So that's it. That's how you do it. Step by step, pose to pose. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next lesson.